y'all, at midnight, Melody Shari Rogers released her statement stating that she would no longer be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. After 9 seasons of sharing her life with us, she has decided to part ways with the show.
When Melody Shari walked away from Love and Marriage Huntsville, it wasn't just another cast shakeup. It was a thunderstorm. A moment that changed the entire energy of the show. Fans were stunned, the cast was left speechless, and the one person who couldn't handle it at all was Martell Holt. For years, Martell built his presence on reality TV around Melody. Their marriage, their divorce, their arguments, and their co-parenting drama became the heartbeat of the series. But the second she announced she was leaving, Martell's world cracked wide open. And let me tell you, his reaction wasn't calm. It wasn't graceful. He snapped. But here's the twist: while fans thought Martell would move on and finally find peace, the truth is, Melody's decision exposed just how lost Martell really was without her.
So whenever we tend to be rejected, you know, that hurts our soul, us emotionally. That'll make us do things that we shouldn't do, you know, once we feel that rejection. And,
right.
And I felt it. My ex, she felt it. And that caused us to do things that'll hurt, you know, because of that rejection. I didn't think that I would be the person to, going through this divorce, breaking down and crying and stuff like that. I'd never been a person to cry.
Right.
But this situation made me a little emotional and things like that, especially, my kids, I love them so much.
And when a man like Martell feels like he's losing control, that's when the most dangerous side of him shows up. So, how did it all reach this breaking point? Why did Melody finally say enough is enough? And what exactly did Martell do when the cameras stopped rolling and the reality of her exit sank in? Buckle up, because this story is filled with betrayal, backstabbing, and a desperation that nearly tore the entire cast apart. Melody Shari wasn't just another face on reality TV. From the very beginning, she was the backbone of Love and Marriage Huntsville. She was the woman fans connected with, strong, successful, and unafraid to show her vulnerable side. She carried herself with confidence, but she also carried the scars of betrayal. When Martell's cheating scandal came to light, it didn't just destroy their marriage, it became the storyline that defined the show.
Talk about your morals or lack thereof. Let's talk about your integrity or lack thereof. Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about some stuff that actually has a little bit of substance. Okay? Secondly, girl, you're talking about I filed bankruptcy. Yes, sweetie, after your boyfriend filed. After he filed. So I didn't want everything to fall on me, not because I couldn't take care of everything. So let's get the facts straight, but I'm sure you have still continued to listen to all the lies that he gave. You know what? I finally understand why you was able to be a side chick for 5 years, because you dumb.
Every season, Melody tried to move forward, but Martell seemed determined to pull her back into the chaos. He questioned her parenting, he spread rumors, he threw shade whenever he got the chance. And while Melody kept rising, focusing on her businesses, her music, and raising her children, Martell couldn't seem to let go of the spotlight that came with their drama. But here's what nobody expected: behind the scenes, Melody was getting tired. Really tired. The constant attacks, the shady storylines, the endless arguments that seemed to benefit everyone but her, it was wearing her down. And while fans saw her strength on screen, off camera she was dealing with exhaustion, stress, and the reality of raising 4 kids in the middle of chaos.
You should be shaking your dang on head at yourself. I ain't did. You always doing. You was doing 3 days ago in Houston. What is you blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies for to these people? You always doing that. You always doing. No, it ain't accurate. No, it's not actually accurate. You said to me that when we were married, I was going to hotels cheating on you. That's a goddamn lie.
I didn't say you wanted to.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that you was.
Yes, you did.
And
you've said it multiple times.
There's a possibility, because like me.
Well, we know you were cheating.
It's okay. Okay. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Not
if I knew they was going to destroy what we had, it would have been like it is.
For years, people whispered that Melody might walk away. But most didn't believe it. She was the face of the show, the one who made fans tune in week after week. But then, one day, she shocked everyone: she was done. Melody Shari was leaving Love and Marriage Huntsville. And that's when Martell snapped. At first, Martell played it cool. He acted unbothered, like her exit didn't shake him. He gave the cameras a calm face, pretending it was no big deal. But anyone who knows Martell knows that when he acts too calm, there's always a storm brewing underneath. And sure enough, it didn't take long for the cracks to show. Without Melody, Martell had no storyline. No one to argue with. No one to call him out when he twisted the truth.
From that, what I did that I
Repeatedly.
so just regret from the depths of my heart. I regret. I'm like, if I knew, now it's like it wouldn't be this way. You know what I'm saying?
You should have listened.
No one to balance his chaos with strength. Suddenly, the man who had spent years making Melody's life miserable realized his own relevance was slipping through his fingers. And that's when his behavior changed. He started throwing jabs in interviews, making slick comments about Melody's exit. He tried to paint her as weak, as someone who couldn't handle the heat. But the more he spoke, the more obvious it became Martell wasn't just mad. He was panicking. Because let's be real. Without Melody, Martell didn't just lose an ex-wife from the show. He lost his entire foundation. His storyline, his ability to stay in the spotlight, and even his connection with fans were all built on the drama between him and Melody. With her gone, who was he? And here's where the real drama begins.
A wrap for Melody Shari Rogers on Love Marriage Huntsville. She's officially announced that she will not be returning to the reality TV series. Look, there have been a lot of signs that Melody was done with OWN, that she was done with Carlos, because she unfollowed him, she's said some things on social media, and most recently, she revealed some things about her issues with the show and how it's being produced, and someone, a producer, on her show basically wanted to be her TV manager, and when she said no, she felt as if there was retaliation.
Behind the scenes, there were whispers that Martell had been pushing for Melody's exit. Some say he tried to convince producers that the show would be better without her. That her story had run its course. That he could carry the drama on his own. But when Melody actually left, it backfired in the worst way. Instead of rising as the main star, Martell started to fade. Fans weren't tuning in to watch him. They weren't invested in his solo ventures. They weren't cheering him on. If anything, they were calling him out, saying he drove Melody away, saying he ruined the one person who kept the show together. And Martell couldn't handle it. His outbursts became more frequent. His jabs at Melody turned into full-blown rants. He started showing up more often, desperate to stay relevant. But instead of rebuilding his image, he looked like a man falling apart. A man who couldn't stand the fact that the woman he once betrayed was now walking away, not just from him, but from the entire circus he thrived on. But the emotional impact of this story goes deeper than TV drama. For Melody, walking away wasn't just about leaving a show. It was about reclaiming her peace. After years of being dragged through the mud, she finally chose herself. And while fans celebrated her strength, Martell was left with the one thing he feared most: silence. No one to fight with, no one to blame, no one to stand beside him on screen. It's almost poetic. The man who once thought he could control Melody ended up losing her completely. And in the process, he exposed his biggest weakness, that without her, he's lost. And that brings us to the ending, the part that leaves fans asking, what's next? Martell Holt's reaction to Melody's exit wasn't just about anger. It was about fear. Fear of losing relevance. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of facing himself without the excuse of blaming Melody for everything. And while he may keep snapping, keep throwing shade, keep trying to drag her name into his drama, the truth is, Melody has already won. Because at the end of the day, walking away wasn't a loss. It was freedom. And Martell? He's left with the wreckage of his own actions. So the real question isn't what Martell does next. It's whether Love and Marriage Huntsville can even survive without the woman who carried it from the start. Because no matter how much Martell snaps, one thing is crystal clear: Melody Shari was the heart of the show. And without her, nothing will ever be the same. What do you think? Did Melody's exit finally expose Martell's true colors? Can Martell survive without her, or has he already written his own ending? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity drama and reality TV breakdowns. At the end of the day, Martell Holt's snapping wasn't just about Melody leaving the show, it was about him losing the one person who gave his story weight. Without Melody, Martell is exposed. The excuses, the manipulation, the control, none of it works anymore. He can scream, he can post, he can shade her in every interview, but the truth is Melody already walked away with her dignity intact. And that's something Martell can never take back. For Melody, this was freedom. A chance to finally live her life without the cameras capturing her pain, without the producers feeding off her trauma, and without Martell pulling her into more battles. She chose peace, and in doing so, she showed fans everywhere that you don't have to stay trapped in a cycle just because people expect you to. And now, as fans ask if Love and Marriage Huntsville can even survive without its heart, Martell is left to face the one thing he's always avoided himself. Because without Melody, he doesn't just lose his ex-wife, he loses the power, the storyline, and the control he thought he had forever.